Oh my gosh. The way the Satanists take care of their own is they don't. They're homeless. They're broke. Sometimes they're in the homeless shelters. Um, Watching videos on modern Christianity being taught Pauline doctrine that blood sacrifice gets them to heaven and it doesn't matter if they sin. So I felt like some anger. Not a whole lot, but some anger I felt in like this whole system the devil has set up where they get a free ride. This is like the Communist Manifesto. Um, so it's not even worth it, honestly. It's not worth it. But it's ridiculous. They create positions, they create centers, they create jobs where they don't work, um, so that they can invite their coven members in that are homeless because they tell them you don't have to work. You never have to work. Yeah, they got to work for the coven 24/7 whenever they tell them to do something. So it's not free. But they never have to go to a 9 to 5. They don't work. And they look like they have mental problems or multiple personalities because this is the demonic possession that you get when you dabble in witchcraft or take sorcery, pharmakia, which is illegal street drugs. So I never knew just how bad. Like I hear about all the fraud in government waste, but I just really understood how severe this problem is. Like that, this is nuts. So we've heard about illegal immigrants coming and running daycares and doing like healthcare scams and stuff like this, and they buy themselves new cars and Teslas. Like I don't know the exact, but I mean I've seen a headline. I've heard something on the news before. I don't pay too much attention. We know there's corruption and we know there's fraud, but there is so much more fraud than we're even aware of. There is so much more than we're even aware of because these things are legal. They're legal. They're not illegal at all. There's no way to send someone to prison for what they're doing. And it's under the guise of helping. And you would never know unless you go to these centers yourself what a big fraud and a scam and a waste of money this is. So this is how the covens operate, and this is how they provide for their members, because they promise them, oh, you don't have to work. Oh, they live homeless on the street. They can come into all these government buildings and these centers and all these groups and buildings, and so they have support groups and recovery meetings and all types of things that are put on at taxpayer expense. They can come in and they can have air conditioning, they can have coffee, they can have drinks, they can make things, they can watch TV on a couch. They get free food. So a lot of these centers have free meals, free lunch. The soup kitchen has free lunch and dinner. I think this is backfiring now as more serious criminals are coming in. I think that they are having some regrets. But anyways, this is nuts. I had no idea. And this is, you can't send somebody to prison for this. It's not illegal. But people don't know. They create these centers. They create these centers to take care of the coven. That is why. Because if you're a believer, you get pushed out. You get pushed out and you don't get help. But this is nuts. So I've been to a few different recovery centers. Now, some might help people. That is absolute truth. Now, I've been going to two, and one seems to be much better, and the other one is completely ran by witches and warlocks. So, this is what I'm saying. It's an entire building, and it's ran by witches and warlocks, and only witches and warlocks attend, essentially. And also, they have the serial killer attend. They send them after believers. They send them after targeted individuals. They have a place where they can meet in the air conditioning and get paid to scheme, get paid to sit around and do nothing and talk. So, and this is nuts. Like, They can't even get a job if they want to, because the devil, when they call, they got to be ready. So no, you don't have to work. Oh, but you got to come in whenever the devil says. And whenever your superiors tell you to come, then you got to come to the meeting. And yeah, you're only coloring a picture, or you're cutting out a flower. You're cutting out a flower on construction paper, but you still got to come in. And during that time, you are not able to get a job. So they disrupt the sleep patterns. They have people get up in the middle of the night to do their chants and their prayers. So they're too tired to get a job. They have them homeless, relying on handouts. So there's no need to get a job. But they're told they don't have to work. But they're working. So anyways, the higher level people that oversee things, like the head witches and head warlocks, they actually get jobs and they make jobs. But these aren't regular jobs where they're actually benefiting society. They make jobs where they don't work, where they basically sit around, watch TV, and talk, or they get to color a picture. So this is the type of jobs, it's of no benefit to society. These are the types of jobs that they create to pay themselves. So they often get a lot of donations. Stuff comes in. They get to share those donations. So maybe I just saw on the Facebook page, little plastic sunglasses. Yeah, I do like those. That's a kind I like to pick up at the fair. But I'm not going there anymore. So they'll on the table in the back with all the free stuff. They got free little pill boxes, free sunglasses. They get free little purses. These things must be like 10, 20 cents on AliExpress when you buy them in bulk. But then it's got soap, rags, like toiletries, all this stuff for free. And it's all given to the coven members. They get paid off. So they get to come sit in the building on a couch, drink some coffee, watch TV, get fed free lunch, and get free little trinkets, get free clothing. They can stay in the homeless shelter where they get their clothes washed. Everything is provided, but they are slaves. They are slaves and they are controlled. But anyways, the higher level ones create positions. They create agencies. They create organizations that don't help. They don't do anything but provide resources for the coven. So this one center I was going to for a couple months. I am now not going there. I am now not going to this building anymore. Now, if God wants me to, I will show back up. But for now, I'm not going. And maybe this is God's plan, that I stop going to this one and I go to the one that seems like it's actually doing more good. And I'm going to say, honestly, the one that I'm still going to might be doing good and helping people. The one that I am not going to, I would go into, so I was first invited to go to these meetings by a narcissist and a coven, and they invited me to go. I did used to have addiction. I did used to have a serious addiction the majority of my life, which was a curse placed on me by family since my youth. That is now broken. So I actually do qualify. I am supposed to be able to go to these groups. Now, my addiction was not drugs or alcohol, and it was not a sin, I do not believe. But it was a serious thing, and it wasn't good, and it made my life worse. However, I've been going to these groups with other people, and I would say the center that I'm still going to, it appears that they might be doing good. It appears they might be helping people. There's a lot more people that go, and there's more than just the activity groups. But the one that I am no longer going to, it appears that everyone that works there is a witch or a warlock, mainly ran by warlocks. And they get donations, they get food donated. They if they have a need, are able to get get things like kitchen appliances, a fridge, a stove, coffee machines, flat screen televisions. We'll see what other types of things. They got like cornhole games. I'm trying to think of what else they have. Oh, now they have showers and they have really nice bathrooms. And I actually stopped there to use the bathroom, and somebody went out and broke my bicycle. Well, I was only in there for a half hour, and then they broke my bike and would not review the security cameras. So this is what happens to a believer: is they They will not look at the camera to see who damaged my bicycle. They're like, oh, maybe no one did it. And they're like, oh, we got to send it upstairs. And there's only like 3 people that work there. So this is a crock. But they would not, they refused to review this footage. They took down my email. I haven't heard anything. It's been weeks. So they don't have any intention of reviewing this footage. But if they do, they already know they might have paid someone, or the staff or the management might have went out and slashed my bike tires or popped my bike tires, or a couple weeks before then took a socket wrench and loosened up my pedal so it fell off as soon as I left. So I left, I was biking in like a block. I leave and I bike like a block away and my pedal falls off after leaving the center. So I am a believer in God. I believe God. I do what's right. I'm not sinning or anything like that. And so I get targeted by the people at this facility. They do not help me. They will not help me. They make empty promises to disappoint me. They also they are complicit in damaging my bicycle. So they either damaged my bicycle themselves, paid one of the homeless people to damage my bicycle, or they know who did it. And they will not check the cameras, or if they will, but they won't show me and they won't tell me. But I didn't go get the police. I had stuff to do, and if it was God's will, it would have been more convenient I would have missed dinner to contact the police. So I trusted the Lord that this was meant to happen as part of a greater plan. God's judgment is happening now. So this center is ran by warlocks and witches. They do not help a believer. They provide free resources for the coven. They basically sit around and don't do anything and get paid. And so I was invited to this group by a narcissist in a coven. They invited me, and then there'd be maybe 5 people in the group. So they have these activity groups, which looks like the majority of what they do there. They have art group, grief support, different groups where you get together. And so maybe one is yoga, one is coloring a picture, or you glue stuff you make a collage. This is kindergarten, 1st grade level arts and crafts for adults. But anyways, when they knew I was coming and they invited me, there was maybe 5 people. There was maybe 5 people in the room. Well, then I went on my own after that. They gave me a ride at first. So then when I showed up unannounced and I went in to the group, sometimes there's only 1 person in there. And once or twice, there was no one in there. So they have management that's basically doing nothing. So it looked like there was maybe 1 person in the group. Like when I came in unannounced, they didn't know I was coming. There was maybe 1 person in there, and they were coloring a picture with like colored pencils. And this is an adult. So they're not doing anything, and they're getting paid. But now, when they cook food and they serve it to people, they started a lunch, then they get to eat for free. They can now eat for free, or they can put witchcraft spells, potions, and curses on the food, which we all know narcissists, witches, and warlocks do. They use food as a weapon. They will always provide free food because their people don't have jobs. Their people are homeless. Their people rely on government handouts and donations. They get fed for free, and they have to be fed for free because they don't have jobs. And they're not allowed to have jobs because the devil wants obedient slaves. And if they had a job, then they would have some freedom. They would be able to get food another way. They would be able to get an apartment if they had a job. So the coven keeps them to where they can't have a job, and they have to rely on free resources. So they create this center, and these are people, I don't know how much they're making. They could be making $50,000 a year. Maybe they're even making $100,000 a year. I don't know, because I heard somebody had to have a PhD, so they're probably making $100,000, maybe $50,000 to do nothing. because when I show up unannounced, there's a main lobby room with a couch, a coffee machine, and a television. And when I go in there, I will usually see a couple people from the coven, a couple people with schizophrenia or something, and they're sitting on the couch and they're watching TV. Now, I happen to know this is demonic possession. They have dark passengers which are speaking to them. But anyways, they just are sitting on the couch watching television, having something to drink. And they're not even in the groups. They're not even going to the classes. They're sitting on a couch and watching television and getting free coffee and free lunch. And then I actually would go into the groups, which I guess is supposed to be their job. And when they didn't know I was coming, sometimes no one was there at all, or sometimes it was one person. One person. And so basically, if the staff member did go in, one staff member would go in and just sit there or talk a little bit, get to hang out and color pictures or draw on a poster board. This is what they are doing. And they're paying themselves $50,000, $100,000 per year while they target and harass believers. They target and harass believers of God and basically force them out. Because when I would go, my bike would get messed with. It's like, I can't go anymore. Then there was another person who was going there too, who seemed like a good person, and he got pushed out and felt it was very evil. So they push out the believers, and they embrace and help the coven. And I will say, is there was a Bible verse at the soup kitchen, and I didn't see it till that evening. But they usually do a different Bible verse each day. They put it up on the board and do a really short little sermon before they serve food. And the Bible verse for one day was something about what a person does with a secret, like what a good person won't tell a secret, and like a bad person will spread it. I forget what verse, but this was the verse, the Bible verse, the soup kitchen covered this day. And I went into this center and I told them about my issues and asked if they could help me. And they were like, "Oh, we know this person and we can get you help, and we can get you help by the weekend." They said this, and you know what they did? They never helped me, and they told like half the town. Because people now, they spread my private confidential information. I told them. So I went into this center and I asked for help, and I told them private information about my life that I don't give out to anybody. I told them private information about my life. And what they did is they told the coven members so that when I would go someplace across town, they would mention and make comments to me about what I told them in this facility. And they never helped me. They lied. And they also kept saying, "Oh, we're going to get a washing machine in for people to do their laundry. We're going to do this." And now I realize what it is, because they've pushed the believers out, and only the coven comes in. So now they have witches and warlocks. There's like maybe 4 that work there, and they run it. And there's maybe 1 person in there, or maybe 2 people in there that come in for help, and there's 4 hired staff. They are getting paid to do nothing. And now they want to get paid to wash their own laundry at work. They want to get paid to wash their own laundry at work. I've been under spiritual attack, and my washing machine was broken, and I have been unable to get my clothes clean. If I go to a laundromat, then I get attacked by witches there, and they cast spells on me and don't maintain the machines, so they don't work. My resources are exhausted. I have not been able to get my clothes clean. I tell people and no one cares. And I told them, and I find out that they are trying to put in a washing machine, and I know that it's so they can wash their own clothes for free. They bring in food and cook food. They get to eat for free. Now they don't even need to buy their own lunch. Now they can if they want to go get something. But then also donations come in, like local pizzerias donate pizza. They donate drinks, and they all get to drink them and eat the food for free. If this is a help center for recovery, then a lot of businesses donate little trinkets, like hygiene products and like little sunglasses and all types of things, get donated. And then they're given to the coven. They're not given to the people with jobs. They're not given to people that believe in God. And this is one thing with the Communist Manifesto, eat for free. They eat for free. Someone else pays for it. This is how the coven operates, and this is how you can tell if something's evil. I was looking for a cedar meal. A cedar meal. I was invited to go to one, and it fell through. They didn't come to pick me up. It was probably a good thing. But anyways, then I went to look, and you normally have to pay like $10 or $15 for the meal. But when it's ran by the coven, it's free. It's always free because their members are broke and homeless. They have to be good slaves. They're not allowed to have jobs because then they are free and they can choose what they do. No, they have to be obedient slaves. Like the narcissists hire and pay drug addicts $20 a day to mess with people's bikes and to mess with people's stuff or to go beat somebody up. This is what they do. They pay them $20 a day. Well, if they had a job, they could make $20 an hour. So the coven members are not allowed to get a job. So they are very obedient slaves. They eat for free. They get all these resources for free. They get to watch TV for free. They get their clothes washed for free. There's free food, free drinks, free entertainment. They even had a free salon day for women, which they told me about, but I didn't get to go. It was all full. But and I don't care. But they tried to disappoint me with that as well. As this is how they target and passive aggressively harass believers. A lot of these mental health and recovery centers are ran by Satanists. They are ran by Satanists. And they give the free resources to the coven. They give the free resources to the witches and warlocks. And they push out, target, and harass the people that believe in God, that really need help, don't get helped. Now I will say I was going to 2 centers. And one of the centers, it could be good. One of the centers could be helping people. And I don't think that I have been targeted at one of these centers. So I need you to understand it's not all of them. But there's 2 in town. And one of them is completely ran by Satanists. And they spread my personal information around. And they use it to target and harass me and cause trouble. They never help. They want to get in a washing machine to wash their own clothes. One of the people that ran this, there was a period of time, he was too busy. He didn't have time to wash his own clothes. And shortly after that, then they were going to get a washing machine in this building. Surprise, surprise. They want to get the washing machine hooked up so that the management, the people that run this center, can wash their clothing while they are getting paid. And this is taxpayer money. Now I remember a couple months ago, people mentioning at the groups, mentioning they were very upset with Trump and the Trump administration, because the Trump administration was reducing the amount of money that went to homelessness and addiction and recovery and mental health services. The Trump administration was getting rid of a lot of that funding, and they were very upset. And I heard this, and I understood why they would be upset. This is their jobs. But actually, and I didn't really say much, but having gone to these for a couple months, and I understand as they have targeted me and other people. It wasn't just me. I met someone else. And he was targeted and treated rude. He was treated rude, and they forced him out, essentially. They basically try to do things to make it uncomfortable, or to bully you, or disrespect you until you just walk away and go somewhere else. This is what they do to the believers. So I'm trying to remember what I'm saying here. So one of these centers I don't know, because there could be good people that work at one of these centers, so it's not all of them. But say half of these centers are ran by the covens. Half of the centers are ran by the covens. They push out believers, and then they give all the free resources to their members, to other Satanists. And they bring in people. They bring in killers. They brought in killers to try to kill me. They bring dangerous people into these facilities and tell them to go after me. And I'm not concerned because God will protect me. But this is what they are getting paid to do. And I do know the man is one of the people that was running this place. He's not the very top, but he's close. He wasn't able to get his own clothes cleaned. He said, I don't have time, and I could smell his clothes were not clean. And then it must have been like within the month, they decided to get a washer and dryer at the recovery center. Now, of course, I need it, and it's not there, and now I'm not going. I get pushed out. I even offered I can bring in some detergent. My washer's been broken. It got broken. No one will fix it. I can't get it fixed. My plumbing's messed up. No one will help me. There is nothing to help. I would say, actually, by the definition and by the circumstances of my life, I would technically be an abused woman. An abused, you say, like non-physical, but mental domestic violence. I was pushed out. I have no friends or family to rely on. I'm alone, and I'm targeted. No one will help me. No one will help me. And they never do. But they bring in the coven members, and they are buying cigarettes, and they are buying drugs. And they're even going out to eat sometimes, even though they get free food. I can't afford to do these things. But they're bringing them in, and they give them everything they need for free. But they don't get paid very much. It's like chicken feed. They get some free stuff worth $5. They could get so much more if they just went and got a job. They could have so much more. They could be doing so much better off if they just went and got any job anywhere. But they create centers, they rent entire buildings, they create entire organizations in order to get paid to do nothing and give free resources to the Satanists and devil worshippers. So that is what is happening. I've seen this firsthand. And they also have regular people and businesses thinking that if you donate to them, you're actually helping. They don't know that they force out Christians. They force out Muslims. They force out Jews. Not the fake ones that do it for vanity, but the ones that have God in their heart. Not the ones that do it to be seen and to look holier than thou, but the ones that are really good people and they have the Holy Spirit. They get pushed out of these facilities and they don't get helped. And the local businesses think that they donate. They got bakery treats that didn't sell by the end of the day. They didn't sell these things by the end of the day. They give it to the centers where they give it to the Satanists. There are poor people that are working that have children. There are poor people that are working that have children. They don't get the bakery treats that don't sell. They don't get the free clothes. They don't get these free things. I started going to the soup kitchen. They tried to drive me out, curse me, mess with my stuff, break my stuff. I got to carry everything with me. I can't leave my drink unattended for 10 seconds, 5 seconds. It's worse than a prison to go to the soup kitchen. This is what they do. This is what they do to believers. They push out normal people. They push out believers. It's a dangerous place to go. So I am going, and I'm still going. And they can't do anything to me, but I got to carry everything I own on my back. I can't go to the bathroom. I can't leave my drink. Even when I go through line, they mess with it, sometimes poison it, sometimes give me pork and tell me it's not pork. They tried to push me out because I believe in God. They tried to get me out of this soup kitchen. And that's why there's only devil worshippers left. Because everybody else, when they were bullied, or their car was scratched, or their bike was broken, they left and didn't come back. But I'm still standing, and I'm still here. And this is what's happening. Businesses donate their unsold bakery treats, like Starbucks, fancy coffee places, have pastries that don't sell, and I could be broke. I could have my house broken by criminals. I could be targeted, breaking my bicycle, breaking my car, being sued fraudulently, being framed. No one will help me. And I go into that business, they won't give me a free treat. They send it to the men's homeless shelter where there are pedophiles and serial killers. They give the treats to the pedophiles, serial killers, and devil worshippers that try to murder me. And this is what they do. And they create businesses to give taxpayer money to people that eat for free that don't work. All the work they do spying on me and messing with me and following me around, they could have a job. But they don't have a job. Now, I understand that a lot of these Satanists, they joined when they were teenagers. And if they left now, if they left when they were 40 years old, they would be targeted just like me. And they might not make it. They might not survive because God protects me. And if they are devil worshippers, if they don't reach out to God, they won't have God's protection. So it's more dangerous for them. Probably some don't want to be in this anymore. But this empowers the coven by giving them money and resources. It gives them power and money to go after people and to intimidate their own members into staying. They have the carrot and the stick. This is ridiculous. So when the businesses, they have unused food, they give it to all of the facilities where the serial killers, murderers, criminals, rapists, pedophiles stay. And they target and harass believers of God, which is why I was surprised when I went to the soup kitchen. I expected there to be some criminals, but I didn't see people that believed in God. I didn't see mothers with hungry children. That's not what I saw. I saw drug addicts and I saw devil worshippers. And they scared away that there'd be Christian people bringing in the kids volunteering, and when they do that, they have a woman walk up and cuss right in front of them and yell and scare them so that they never come back. This is what they do to parents. Mothers want to bring their children, then they just send a crazy lady or a crazy man to yell and cuss and act like he's going to beat someone up right in front of these little children. This is what the Satanists do while the staff stands by. And they create their own organizations and groups. They are using the taxpayer money to fund the coven. And they force out and bully and attack, target, and harass believers. So this is what I have seen happening. And I was just on Facebook, and then it recommended me, like where it says friend recommendations, and then I saw some of the coven members on there, and I look at their Facebook page, and at this center, it's showing, oh, what we're doing. We're dancing today. We're putting Google eyes on things. And I'm thinking, the meetings, when there was somebody in the meeting, they just got a cabinet, and in that cabinet is construction paper or coloring pages. Most of the time, they're not even like really making coasters or anything. It's like coloring a picture. No one, I did not see anyone getting help. I did not see anyone getting help. Now, maybe the other center does. So, it's not all of them. It's not all of them. But there's so much government money being given out to these organizations. So, the good news is a lot of the coven, a lot of the Satanists are sent to follow me. So now I have stopped going to this center. So now the government might want to look at how many people are going to this building. But then if they see that no one's going, then they're probably going to start paying homeless people to go to the center or say they're there when they're not. Because they just have a sign-in sheet. They could just write a name and a time on it. There's no way to know. Like when they said there's a wait list for the Women's Day. They go and get people that don't even go to the center. They tell people that go to a different church or that other coven members that don't even go to the center find out about, like, oh, get your hair and nails done for free. And so they invite those people that don't even go to the center because they are also Satanists. And it does not go to working mothers with children, good people, believers in God. The resources go to the covens. The resources go to the devil worshippers. And the sad thing is, if the devil worshippers wanted to leave, they would be targeted just like me, and probably a lot of them wouldn't make it. And this is what we are allowing. I know how they targeted me, and I know that they would do that to their own if they tried to leave. They do that to their own if they try to leave. Look at the stories of Hollywood. So I know the names, I know the faces, I know the people here. Like, we need to have the FBI or something come in and these low-level Satanists and see if they want to get out of it and get them in some type of witness protection program, because they could go and get a job. They could go and get a job and have a lot more money, and they already have to be wherever the coven tells them to go. They have to do what they're told. They don't have freedom. But I'm not saying every center is bad, but I am saying that there appears to be quite a lot of centers, and this isn't illegal. This isn't illegal because these people do have mental health issues. They have demonic possessions. You'll see them talking to their demons and casting spells over people. And there's also voodoo curses. They have done this stuff to me. God has trained me in how it works. So there's an idea that mental health, for the most part, is demonic possession. I'm not saying in every case, but I've seen at the facilities ran by witches and warlocks, there's demonic possession. And they bring in dangerous criminals, and they bring in an entire group. They can meet together, and they can target an individual and try to take them out. And they use poison primarily, and they use certain types of plants or flowers or poisons that are not tested for, that will not show up on an autopsy unless you pay thousands of dollars to do your own testing. You have to know what kind of thing you're looking for. So they get away with it because they know the loophole. They know the loopholes, and they know the laws because they created a lot of the laws. So this is a corrupt system, and this is why the funding really does need to be stripped from programs for homeless and mental health and recovery. So we need to strip all of the funding. I'm at this point, I'm going to say, is to take all of the funding for mental health and recovery. There should be no funding from the government for any of this. But the government should set up its own mental institutions where they get people real treatment. They have real treatment. And there can't be narcissists paying someone $20 to go break and steal someone's bike or to go stab someone. Because this is what's happening. They're out in the public using up all of the community resources, targeting, harassing good people, keeping good people out of the soup kitchen, keeping good people out of the centers where they could receive assistance. They are too afraid. If they're too afraid to speak up at church, they're too afraid to go to a soup kitchen. That's for sure. So this is what's happening.